Hi everyone, my name is Ridhima Pandey. I am 16 and I am a climate activist from India. India is a country that is most impacted by climate change, yet one of the countries where people are not really aware, where the governments do not really care about climate change, about environmental conservation, about how their actions are impacting their people. And it is also a country that has a lot of biodiversity and that needs to be conserved. Now, when it comes to the state where I live in Uttarakhand, which is a very, very biodiversity rich and beautiful state. And I have seen flash floods, landslides happening here constantly, cloud bursts happening almost like every day during the rainy season. And it was not normal. When my parents were kids, my dad used to tell me that, landslides, flash floods were not that frequent. But as the time is changing and as the climate change is accelerating, as the global warming is increasing, these natural disasters are getting more and more often and more destructive, which is impacting the people living up in the mountains. I would say India is also a country that has this huge gap of rich and poor people. And on one hand, where rich people, the richer communities, the policymakers, and everyone, the corporates, I consider the policymakers and the corporates as someone who is privileged and who have a lot of money, whether it's the people's money, for the governments or the corporates who have a lot of funds and everything. They are not using that money rightly, and they have the resources because of which the crisis is getting worse and worse. But then again, there is this poor community out there, those who are getting impacted by their actions. So climate change in India is impacting the poor community the most, very badly. And nobody cares about that. So I would say India is a country where there is a lack of awareness. People don't know about climate change. Even if they do know, they don't really care about how climate change is impacting other people, how their actions are impacting the other people. And I would say in our country there is this huge disrespect that we have towards ecosystem. It is very sad, yet it is the truth. People just consider ecosystem, biodiversity, trees, even the animals as something which is there for them to use. I would say it is a story of all the countries out there, but it is impacting the country a lot, specifically the children's and everything. If you'll see the death rate of children, because of air pollution, how poor communities are getting impacted by water pollution, air pollution, and even the natural disasters, and how when the crisis is hitting them, how a family of a farmer is getting impacted is also something that we really have to look up to. I would say it's not just India, but all of us know that climate change is impacting people all around the world. People in all the countries, are facing climate crisis differently, in a different way. It could be something different than what we face in India. But one thing is common is that all of our lives are in danger. Future of kids all around the world is at stake. Not it's not just about the future of kids of my country. It's about every single child out there. And when it comes to taking action, I would say we shouldn't wait for somebody else to motivate us or to guide us in terms of that, yes, you have to take action. We have to start taking actions ourselves. Action comes from within, and we have to start taking action from our own houses, to set an example for everybody out there that it is not that difficult. And if you are determined, then you can bring a change. So I would say it is really important for us to take action because I mean, I am a person who is ready, always ready for the worst case scenario. I don't know, but my life has always been like that. I am always ready for the worst. And I would say that is sort of what gives me hope of keep going on, because it's the fear that I have inside me of dying someday because of climate crisis that keeps me going. And I would say it is important for not only just me, not only just kids, but everybody out there to take action. Because at the very end, we wouldn't at least feel guilty that we didn't nothing. We don't want to sit there and be the victims of someone else's bad deeds. Rather, we should be the leaders who bring change, who guide our communities towards changing, towards raising their voices, towards giving them a platform, and making them aware about the crisis and how it is impacting them and why is it important for them to take action. I would say one thing that always keeps me going is, seeing people taking action. When you see people bringing change, when you see people succeeding, whether it's their campaign or whether just it is as small as changing their own lifestyle or switching towards recyclable things or, reusable things, I would say even those small things give me inspiration to do more, because when somebody who has less resources is trying their best to do whatever they can in their capacity, then us, few of us, those who have resources, like, those of us who have platforms, which we can use to create awareness, then we should do our very best so that it's not only us, but it's, it is our communities that we are representing, and it is our communities whom we are bringing justice to. And when you work on climate crisis, or when you work on biodiversity conservation or protecting our common home earth, it's not only just us that we have to think about, but rather we should think about all the other species present on this planet. Because I believe without those species out there, we cannot really exist on this planet. So we should really respect the biodiversity that is making us sustain on this planet, and we should do our very best in terms of taking action. And I would just say that it's not really easy. Bringing change is not easy, yet it is not something that is impossible for you to do. You are here right now seeing my video. That means you have already taken the first step and you have recognized that how important it is for you to take action, and you can bring change. The only thing that's left is taking action. And then while you're taking action, the path will go on its own. You will find solutions and you will find what next you have in your life. It's just this first step that you have to take, and you've already taken it. Now the only thing that I would want you to do is continue the work that you're doing, and always remember that this fight is really very tough. You will face many challenges, and sometimes you won't really see change instantly, but you have to keep going on, because at the very end, we all know that we are fighting for our future, and we can bring a change and we can save our future. But for that, we have to be patient, and we all have to come together and keep the work that we are doing, keep going on. And yeah, I hope for the very best. And thank you so much for being part of Laudato C, and knowing about the letter, watching it, spreading it, and everything. And I hope that you keep your fight going on. And yeah, you guys are there because of you guys. People like me, activists like me, those who are living in countries like India are inspired to do our very best.